Let's get a few laps under our belt. Confirmed, we'll receive you at the end of this lap.
What an incredible practice session that was. But the fun doesn't stop here, though. Join us again as the rest of the weekend unfolds.
Okay, track's green right now, so take a few laps to get the tyres up to temp and get yourself in the zone. Okay, you have a lot of front wing damage. Box for a new one. That looked bad. Are you alright? Let me know you're okay.
Sadly, it's time to say goodbye as free practice is over. However, we'll be back shortly for more Formula One action. Welcome along, everybody, to a venue that was built for speed. Once an airfield, now one of the finest racetracks in the world. It's qualifying day here at Silverstone for the British Grand Prix.
Okay, good job, mate. Really, really well done. That was a fantastic drive. Bring it home.
Goodbye for now then, but really we're just getting started. Make sure to join us again for Lights Out tomorrow. Welcome to not only the home of British motorsport, but also the birthplace of the Formula One World Championship. It's race day here at Silverstone, a classic on the calendar, and it's time for the British Grand Prix. Straddling the border of Northamptonshire and Buckinghamshire, the 18 corners of Silverstone Circuit form the 3.6-mile beating heart of Formula One. It's been reinvented over the years, with Turn 1 now the fast right-hander of Abbey, but the magic of racing is as strong here as it's ever been. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Smith lines up on pole position, just ahead of George Russell, who starts this event from P2. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Leclerc, Max Verstappen and Jackson, Sainz, Piastri, Norris and Alex Albon, Ocon, Antonelli, Mayer and Hülkenberg, Lawson, Gasly, Lance Stroll and Fernando Alonso, Bortoletto, Behrman, Doohan and Isaac Hadjar rounds off the grid. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race. And striding into our commentary box to join us today, the man, the myth, the legend, Anthony Davidson. I love being here at Silverstone. I know you do too, mainly because we get to sleep in our own houses for a week. But what do the drivers enjoy most about this track?
Well, Silverstone's such a challenging circuit, Crofty, more so for the car than the driver, because these high-speed corners at Silverstone really test this modern-day F1 machinery to its maximum. We don't...
Okay, as you know, this is the team's home race. Okay, we're monitoring some wear on the internal combustion engine. Be aware that we're going to start to see a loss of power. Okay, DRS is now available. Brilliant job. That was the fastest lap of the race so far. Okay, mate, we're seeing a lot of tyre wear in the data. Please focus on looking after your tyres. Okay, you have some front wing damage, but not enough to justify a stop in the remaining laps. Okay, as you know, this is the team's home race, which means it's extra. Okay, we're monitoring some wear on the internal combustion engine. Be aware that we're going to start to see a loss of power. We can now use DRS. DRS now available. That was the fastest lap of the race. Keep this up. Well done. Okay, mate, we've got some clear track around us now, so let's use it and make this next lap a quick one. Let's go. Yeah, really good job on hitting that target, mate. Nice work. Still a long way to go, though. Okay, we're monitoring some wear on the internal combustion engine. Be aware that we're going to start to see a loss of power. Okay, mate, final lap. Keep your concentration and let's bring it home.
I'm so proud of you all.
Plenty of action here at Silverstone, a memorable race and an impressive victory.
And 11 wins in a row now marks a new record in Formula One. We are witnessing history in the making.
Red Bull put up an outstanding fight for the front position today, and it's great to see it paid off for them. They do so much for the sport that you can't help but be delighted by today's race win. Well, that was certainly an exciting weekend of Formula One. Be sure to join us for more exciting Formula One action very soon.
Welcome back. Thank you for joining us. And the track action will be getting underway very shortly. I've got Anthony Davidson, Naomi Schiff alongside me. Before we focus on that, Naomi, I'd just like us to consider some of these big rumours that are circulating at the moment about driver moves up and down the paddock. Just how distracting is it to focus on putting in strong performances at the same time as negotiating your future?
Well, it can be a really big distraction, particularly for the drivers who are out of contract at the moment. And for them, it's going to be the challenge of managing what they're doing off track and compartmentalizing that from what happens on track, because we know that this next decision in their career is going to be a big one. So that can put a lot of pressure on your shoulders, but you don't want that to put so much pressure on your shoulders that you start overdriving, making mistakes, because you know in this sport, you can go from hero to zero in an instant.
You know, easier said than done, Anton. As we pass by a driver now who's considering their future, even if you've got a contract, they're not necessarily even worth the paper they're written on. You've got to keep putting in really big, impressive performances.
It's an industry that demands perfection from not just the team, but the drivers as well, first and foremost. So if you start to relax in any way, even if you have a multi-year deal in place, like you say, not worth the paper it's written on, because you can be kicked out before you know it. If the performances start to slip, the team will have their eye on you straight away and you'll be out the door.
So no room for complacency. Let's see who can put in some big performances on track today. All the action up next. Don't go anywhere.